Okay. I watched both versions of my heart ranking that I did, and I noticed that I forgot one of these movies in this ranking. What's going on, everybody? This is Josh, aka Future Filmmaker 3940, here once again. The main guy in charge of Future Filmmaker 3940, where we do movie reviews, TV shows, music reviews, top 10 lists, vlogs, reactions, you name it. And basically, this is the third attempt at recording this video because I did two other versions. But the problem was I rewatched both of those versions and I said to myself, there was another scary movie I saw that I forgot to put on my rankings. So here, this gives me the chance to do this right and do this in the correct order as it should be done. So this is my ranking of the best and worst horror movies of 2018. Some of these are good, some of these are great, some of these were underrated and overlooked, some of these are guilty pleasures, one of these is in the middle, one of these is overrated, and a few of these I truly despise with every fiber in my being. I saw 23 horror films in the year of 2018, and we're going to rank them from the worst to the best. Now, before I start with the ranking, I do have to say there are some rules. Movies not like Annihilation is not going to be a part of this ranking simply because I see Annihilation as more of a sci-fi film. And there are other movies, scary movies that came out like The Ritual and The Open House and of course Hellfest that other scary horror films I didn't see because I wasn't interested in it and or I just didn't want to see them. But this is my opinion, this is my list. If you don't like how the ranking is, drop your list down below. Let's have a friendly, nice conversation as always. Let's not be hateful because you will be seeing disclaimer at the beginning of this video. So don't think just because this is a ranking video that doesn't mean I can see your negative comments, because they will be blocked, they will be removed, and I will report them. So let's try to keep it friendly, let's try to keep it calm. We can agree, disagree, and other than that, let's get started. Coming in 22nd place is Deep Freaking Blue Sea 2. Never in my 20 years as a movie lover and as a scary movie guy and as someone who's very passionate about both of those things have I seen a scary movie a sequel to a scary movie so poorly, cheap, degrading, insulting, and very disinteresting. Deep Blue Sea 2, I was kind of curious about a sequel, but when I found out it was made on the Sci-Fi channel, and when I found out that Thomas Jane and LL Cool J was not going to be in it, I just said no. And then also I said, why were you making a sequel in the first place? But I said, hey, but oops, excuse me for trying to be nice and give this movie the benefit of the doubt, because Deep Blue Sea 2, I love the first Deep Blue Sea. The idea of sharks trying to make sharks smarter in their brain cells is kind of stupid, cheesy idea, but it kind of works here. for a film in 1999 with Samuel L. Jackson, LL Cool J, Thomas Jane, Saffron Burrows, cool shark action directed by Ray Harlan. I really liked the first Deep Blue Sea, and I haven't reviewed it just yet. But after watching this, I will gladly review that. Because Deep Blue Sea 2 is a poorly made film. And I hate saying that about Deep Blue Sea 2 because not only am I disinterested by the stuff that's going on in this film, but you make a Deep Blue Sea sequel this bad. The story is basically the same as the first one, just with new characters. The only characters that I actually liked was the one guy, this one girl. She's cute, and then Michael Beach from Soul Food, his character. But everything else, Deep Blue Sea just fails on a entertaining level. There's no interesting kills except for one. The sharks look completely fake. They look like they were made for just $10. And the writing is atrocious. The direction is atrocious. There's nothing good to say about this movie except for there's one decent kill. The one girl's high. Michael Beach tries, and then the other guy tries. Not even the freaking music is good. So, Deep Blue Sea 2, yeah, it is not a movie you want to waste your time on. Coming in 21st place is Slender Man. This came out August the 10th, and I very much despise Slender Man. But even before this movie came out, I was not excited for it at all, because this was on my least anticipated of last year, if you saw that video. And I said it very clear. Slender Man was basically going to be 2018's version of the Bye Bye Man, and I was correct. And not only that, this is basically an insult to that whole event with the two girls killing the older girl, all because they believed in the Slender Man thing that happened back in 2012. Which this movie is supposed to be basically doing something like. Why couldn't you just focus on the actual freaking thing that happened? Granted, that was 2012, but these are some of the most uninteresting characters here. The only character I cared about in this movie was Joey Keane. And Joey Keane, she's not a bad actress. Wish Upon was a better film. And I didn't mind Wish Upon. But Joey Keane, I like her as an actress. She's a former child actress, and The Kissing Booth, it had issues, but I enjoy most of it. But Joey Keane is a great actress. I do like the one who plays Slender Man. The problem with this movie is that there's no interesting characters, no interesting kills. Nothing about this movie is interesting. This is just a lifeless, dull movie. And that's basically how I feel about Slender Man. I don't know what else I can say about this movie except stay away from Slender Man. Stay away from it. Number 20 is the Hurricane Heist. This is one of the 3 guilty pleasures on this list. 4 guilty pleasures, I should say. Ryan Kwanten, Maggie Grace, and the other actors, they try their best, but there's nothing in this movie. Rob Cohen, you're the director of Fast and Furious and the first XXX movie. What happened? What happened in between your film career, dude? Because there's nothing good here in this movie. The effects are awful. The story is awful. I don't like any of these characters. I just don't know what more I can say about the Hurricane Heist. Except, and if you have to, Basically, you have to turn your brain off to enjoy this. I even tried turning my brain off so I can enjoy this as a guilty pleasure, and this movie still sucked. There's no wonder why this is on my worst top. Shit. Number 19, Children of the Corn Runaway. Why is this franchise still going? Children of the Corn, you do have some good ones here. I like the original. I like the second one. I like the third one. The fourth one I like. And I like Children of the Corn Genesis and Children of the Corn 2009. But Isaac's Return, as bad as Isaac's Return is, I will gladly sit through Isaac's Return before I sit through this or Children of the Corn Revelations again. Because I didn't care about this call, I didn't care the children here, I didn't care about the story here. If you can't make it as good as the other Children of the Corn movies, then just stop doing Children of the Corn. Because at this point, I'm getting burned out with Children of the Corn. You know what? Forget it. I'm just gonna say it. At this point, I'm just done with Children of the Corn. I'm done. Number 18, Hellraiser Judgement. Shit. Hellraiser Judgment really angers me to the best of my abilities. Why are you still making these Hellraiser movies, Dimension? The Hellraiser movies has stopped being good at Hellraiser 4. That was the last good Hellraiser movie. So out of all 10 of these freaking Hellraiser movies, there's only 4 of them I actually like. And those are the first 4. And then the Hellraiser movies just got worse and worse and worse. You have an interesting kind of concept going on here. You underuse Nancy from the original Nightmare on Elm Street. The one who plays Hellraiser does fine in the part. He's not better than the original Pinhead, but he's better than that last actor from Hellraiser Revelations. But that's not enough to keep this from being in the worst category as far as scary movies go. There's a reason why this was second place on my worst of 2018, and there is a reason why it's here. The Hellraiser series has basically officially died and just gone straight to hell, in my opinion. I am done with the Hellraiser franchise. You have played with this franchise. You have made so many bad movies in this franchise too many times. You screwed up too many times with this franchise. I'm done. And if this is the game you want to play, then no more Hellraiser films for me. I'm out. Game over. Okay, now we are getting into the movies that I consider to be in the middle. Now, this is going to give me a little bit of controversy here, but my number 17 is Hereditary. I don't hate the movie. I don't love this movie as everyone else does. The main problems that keeps this movie from being higher is it gets uncomfortably slow at parts. It's a little bit too disturbing for its own good. It's a little too long at 2 hours 7 minutes. And the ending is very freaking stupid. As far as that aside, I do like what they were trying to do with the film. I do like the whole losing this movie deals with family. And I like movies that deals with a family. But the way you marketed this movie as The New Exorcist, that was a lie, because The Exorcist is a better movie than this. There's no way a movie like Hereditary can beat The Exorcist. I do like the acting from Toni Collette and Alex Wolff. They carried this film. Gabriel Byrne, the rest of the cast. And Alex Wolff, I have to give a lot of credit to. I liked him in the Netflix movie Dude, and he was really good in this movie. And here, I just think that there are a lot of interesting things that this movie is going. I can see why a lot of people really love this movie, but Hereditary is just a movie I feel like is overpraised just a little bit. But I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm just saying it's a bit overrated. I do enjoy most of the stuff this movie throws at you, but will I watch Hereditary again? At this point, Hereditary is just a one-time thing for me, but I'll probably go back to it at some point, but I don't know if I will ever go back to this movie again. Oh yeah, I'm seeing the pattern here. You have two movies that I really love a lot. Avengers Infinity War Part 1 and Hereditary, which I love, but I don't love as everyone else does. They suffer from the same problem. They both have endings that I don't really care for. The ending of Avengers Infinity War Part 1, I respect that ending for trying to do something different, and I do give credit to where credit is due. But part of the reason why I didn't like the ending of that movie was because it's supposed to make me wonder what's going to happen next in Avengers Infinity War Part 2, but all it did when you wiped out Scarlet Witch, when you wiped out T'Challa, when you wiped out Spider-Man, all it did was just very much piss me off. So when it comes to the ending of Avengers Infinity War Part 1, I both love the ending and hate it. I love what they were trying to do, but I hate the other aspect. And I do hate the fact that Star-Lord was the one having to mess everything up. On a side note, I do like the Captain Marvel ending in that film. But Hereditary's ending just completely confuses me, messes with me to the point where it doesn't make any freaking sense. And also it kind of just makes me go like, what? I did watch a video of the ending of Hereditary explained, but still I kind of just feel a very question mark about it. It's not the stupidest ending ever. It's just very disturbing and very weird and hard to come by. Coming in 16th place in this horror ranking is The Possession of Hannah Grace. Now, when it comes to The Possession of Hannah Grace, I don't hate it. It's not that bad of a film. I can see why the audience's score is very low. I can see why some critics don't like the film. They're not into the possession films. But I've always had a thing with possession films. But when I saw the trailer for this, I didn't know anything about this movie until I saw a trailer. Then I said, this looked really bad. But then when I found out that Shay Mitchell was in it, I got pretty curious about it. And then I heard some bad things, but I was still willing to be optimistic. And then the first time I watched it, I wasn't really feeling it that much. I wasn't hating it, but I didn't love it. Now, I've watched this movie 3 times, and the best way to describe The Possession of Hannah Grace is that I do enjoy some aspects of this movie. I do like the whole thing with the addiction theme, because the character of Megan went through something in her past, and when you are a cop doing a day-to-day basis, doing things that cops do, it can really mess with you mentally and psychologically, and I can understand that. And the fact that it takes place in just one location also really interested me. This entire film takes place in the morgue, and that was really refreshing to see in the Possession film. And I also really liked that this was a Possession slasher film. And the way this movie is shot, the cinematography is awesome in this movie. It's very slick, it's very clean, it's very amazing. And they used a Sony camera for this, so that's also the reason why it looks pretty cool. And the opening sequence alone makes this out to be very promising. The problems I do have is that some of the characters are cardboard cutouts. Slender Man is underused in this movie, and she does have, in my opinion, the worst way to die in this entire movie. It's kind of cool, but you could have done a little better with that, with the kill. Also, I kind of feel like it does take a while for this movie to get going, but when it gets to what it actually gets to, the movie ends up becoming quite a guilty pleasure for me. And let me just say, the acting is pretty good. The acting was great, especially on the case of former Pretty Little Liars actress Shay Mitchell, who she is gorgeous. I think she's attractive. I think she's a great actress. She may be from Canada. I don't know if she is Canadian. I don't know if she's mixed or not, but she's really attractive. I really like her as Emily Fields on Pretty Little Liars. I know the whole thing with her character on that show, but I wanna finish it for myself. I'm on season 4 right now, and this is kind of a waste for Shay Mitchell. But if I was to compare this to another movie with a Pretty Little Liars actress, which goes by the name of Truth or Dare, I would say they're both the same rate. I do like both of them, despite their problems. But that doesn't mean I love the films. I just enjoy the films as a guilty pleasure. And I do like when the whole demon of Hannah Grace. I would have liked to seen some more rules there. I would have liked to seen at least more of what they were trying to go for here. And I felt like we could have cared more about the other characters, including Slender Man. But for the most part, The Possession of Hannah Grace is a perfectly fine horror film. It's not really that bad as people say it is. I should have expected to put this on my worst of list, but I'm very surprised that it didn't end up on my worst movies 2018 list. So for that, The Possession of Hannah Grace is a perfectly fine, serviceable guilty pleasure film, despite its glaring issues. Coming in 15th place is Traffik. Now, Traffik, I do think, is still decent enough to watch, but the main flaw that Traffik has and suffers from is the editing in the first half. And it is a very slow first half to get through, and we don't really get to care about any of the characters except for Paula Patton and the love interest, Liza Alonso's character. I do like the acting from everyone, and the acting is pretty good. And I do like the second act and third act. It's just that I just wish that first act was tightened up, and I wish we got to care more about it. Other than that, I think Traffik is serviceable enough, but I don't see myself going back to it. What happens when a movie like the Cloverfield Paradox comes on after the Super Bowl on Netflix? Well, basically the best way to describe Cloverfield Paradox is I like the movie, but it is underwhelming. I do love the first two movies. I love Cloverfield, and 10 Cloverfield Lane I really liked. Just here it doesn't. Some moments it doesn't feel like a Cloverfield movie. It kind of feels like a bunch of random scenes. And I kind of feel like, as a fan of the Cloverfield franchise, you could have done a little better. And I was expecting Overlord to be a part of the Cloverfield franchise at first, but I guess that wasn't the problem, because they're both produced, Cloverfield and Overlord, they are both produced by J.J. Abrams. But I think the Cloverfield Paradox does have some good things in it. I do like the acting, I do like some entertaining moments, and there are some decent enough aspects, but I kind of feel like this film could have been a lot better. But the Cloverfield Paradox is not really that bad. The Meg is not only a fun shark film, but this was one of the two better films that came out on my 20th birthday. The other being Black Klansman. And this was a better scary movie than Slender Man. The main thing that does hold this movie back a little bit is the character development, and I kind of feel like if this movie was R-rated, you would have been able to show more blood. But for what I got, I thought the Meg was decent enough. Jason Statham was quite cool. Ruby Rose, she was cool. I like the one Chinese girl that Jason Statham is trying to hook up with. I do like the whole story in general. It's just that there could have been more development for our characters, and there could have been a little bit more going for it. But for the most part, I enjoy most of the Meg. Even though it's got issues, I do like the Meg to a certain extent. Coming in number 12 is Leprechaun Returns. I'm surprised to see Leprechaun Returns end up on this ranking, because the Leprechaun franchise to me is basically hit and miss. There are some Leprechaun movies I like, and there are the Leprechaun movies I don't like. I like the first one. The third one I really like. I like the Leprechaun in the Hood movies, but Leprechaun 2 I think is a little bit of a disappointment. Leprechaun 4 is easily the worst Leprechaun movie, and Leprechaun Origins is the second worst Leprechaun movie. So going into Leprechaun Returns, I was debating on where this would fall, but this is a direct sequel to the original Leprechaun. I really like it. I could have cared more about the characters, who are witches, and the one girl character really irritated me. But I liked that this was a direct sequel to the original Leprechaun. You do have Tori show up. It's not Jennifer Aniston, even though I wish it kind of was. But Jennifer Aniston has gone on to say that Leprechaun, which was her debut film, she said it's her worst movie she's ever done. And I can understand where she comes from. And also, it's a good seeing the older man from the first one back for a little screen time. The Leprechaun himself still has those one-liners that everyone loves so much. Lyndon Porco plays the part of the Leprechaun. He's not better than Warwick Davis, but he's not nearly as good as Warwick Davis. But considering the shoes that he had to fill, you could have done a lot worse. The WWE wrestler from that last Leprechaun movie back in 2014. But Leprechaun Returns, I still have some decency with it. It is one of the guilty pleasures I like. At number 11, we have Unsane. This is a horror film shot completely on an iPhone. That interested me from the minute I saw the trailer. I said, this movie is shot and edited completely on an iPhone? Sounds cool. And then you have the director, Steven Soderbergh, who is a great director. Side effects. I love his direction in the Oceans trilogy with George Clooney. Claire Foy, this is the first movie I've seen her in. She was also in the movie with Neil Armstrong, and she took over for Rooney Mara in The Girl in the Spider's Web. But I like the idea of this girl who is thinking she's losing her mind, and she's getting stalked. I really like that. It did get a little tedious towards the end, but Unsane was still a very entertaining watch. At number 10, we have The First Purge. I am one of the few people who likes the Purge movies. They're not the best movies out there, but they're entertaining, fun little horror action movies. The First Purge is no exception. So basically here we go back to the beginning and see how this whole purge starts out. And for the most part, I was interested in seeing how the First Purge will turn out. Just like the other Purge movies, I have fun. I have fun with the First Purge. I thought it was actually quite cool. I like the idea of these characters. They wear these contact lenses, and basically with the contact lenses, you put them in your eyes and they shine a different color. I think that was to keep the people from getting killed on that. But the idea of them wearing the contact lenses, I thought was pretty cool. It's all blue. The idea of taking place in a different state was really cool. And in this state, basically you do have a couple of racist and ghetto type characters here, which that does lead me into the issue of saying the N-word. The usage of the N-word here is a little overbearing, but when it gets to the kills, I really like the killing. It's cool seeing the different types of Purge masks in all the films. Marissa Tomei was pretty cool from My Cousin Vinny and Spider-Man Homecoming. I like the brother and the sister relationship here. Overall, I just thought the First Purge wasn't that bad of a movie. It is better than the TV show, because the TV show, I gave the TV show a fair chance, and it's decent, but you kind of could do more with. Coming in number 9 is Shane Black's The Predator. I know a lot of people, especially Predator fans, they don't like this movie at all. I can understand the problems that goes on with this film. And I will definitely say that The Predator should have been a lot better, especially for the Predator fans, in comparison to the first Predator. And I like the first 3 Predator films. Predator 2 I used to hate, but I gave it another shot and I actually liked Predator 2. And Predators is my favorite. I also enjoy the AVP films. Yes, some of the humor could have been toned down. We could have cared more about the characters. The film could have been a lot longer, because if there is one negative I have to give, it is the studio interference. Cutting out most of this movie to a tangible runtime does really hurt this movie. I'm sure Shane Black wanted Eric James' almost scenes, and I'm not going to blame Shane Black. I blame Fox for the interference. He was just trying to do his job, and Shane Black is a great director. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Robert Downey Jr., Val Kilmer, Michelle Monaghan, especially in that sexy Santa's little helper outfit. Woo! The Nice Guys is really cool. I really love Iron Man 3. And this movie I like. I like the characters. I like the autistic little boy played by Jacob Tremblay. Olivia Munn as the biology teacher. A lot of people say she was miscast, but I like Olivia Munn's actress. And she was really good as Psylocke in X-Men Apocalypse. And she is coming back for Dark Phoenix. So that's one of the reasons I'm excited to see that film. And she's not a bad actress, for my opinion. I've liked her ever since G4. And the one thing I also don't like in this movie, I don't like the CGI on the Mega Predator. I feel like that could have been done completely with somebody in a real suit. But the OG Predator is still kicking his ass, still whooping that ass. He's still using the awesome thermal thing. And fun fact, but as this movie was coming out, I would take pictures of selfies of myself using the Predator filter, and I tried that filter and it looks pretty cool. So the Predator, it's not that bad of a film. Definitely has its issues, but it could have been a lot better. Number 8 is Unfriended Dark Web. I like the sequel to Unfriended. I love the first Unfriended. I didn't like the ending though, and unfortunately that problem still happens here. I don't like the ending of this movie. I don't know which three. There are 3 alternate endings. I am gonna have to check out the other 2 endings, but Unfriended Dark Web, I like the interesting fact of the dark web and these teenagers, they mess with it. I thought that was quite cool. I thought that was quite interesting. And I know the characters aren't as memorable as the ones in the first film. And it does go into the situation of weird, scary movie mode, but I actually got a kick out watching Unfriended Dark Web. It's not better than that first Unfriended. I still prefer the story there. I still prefer the characters there. But here, I thought Unfriended Dark Web wasn't too bad. I can see why a lot of people hate Unfriended Dark Web, but I didn't mind it. In 7th place, we have The Nun. This is my 3rd favorite of the Conjuring universe. This is one of the weaker ones, and The Nun was pretty creepy in The Conjuring 2, and that is, for me, the best Conjuring film. And I love the first one. The Annabelle films are... The first one's okay, and the second one I really like. My main problems here is that we don't get to care enough about Taissa Farmiga's character, but even though she's really good in the movie, or any of the other characters. And there are an overuse of jump scares, and the CGI here wasn't really needed. But you do have an actual actress playing the nun in makeup, and without all the makeup, she looks pretty beautiful from what a picture I did see where she's not wearing the nun makeup. The acting is pretty good. I do like some atmospheric moments. I do like the music, and I do like some of the interesting things that they were trying to do here, and it did make money, so hopefully we will get a better version of the Nun. But I still enjoy The Nun for what it is, despite its glaring issues. Coming in 6th place, Halloween 2018, or Halloween H40. 40 years later, the night Michael Myers returned home. Woo! I've been waiting for this, because it's been since 2009 since we last got a Halloween movie. And usually the Halloween movies, I like some of them, and some of them I like at least. But I do think it's a better movie than Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, and I do think it's better than Curse of Michael Myers, and it's a little better than Halloween 5 and Halloween Resurrection, even though Resurrection is a guilty pleasure. But let me just explain. This is awesome. You got Blumhouse producing this too. Michael Myers ripping all through your whole crew. He's strapped like bamboo, but he don't sling guns. Nothing can kill Michael Myers. Michael Myers, he's back to how he is. He's killing people without any remorse, without any sympathy, and he doesn't care who's getting in his way. He gonna kill them too. Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode. This is the best I've seen of Jamie Lee Curtis. And the kills were cool. One of my favorite genres in the horror genre is slasher. I love slasher, I love possession films, I love sci-fi films. I even love horror comedy films and horror drama films. I like horror. I like horror because you can easily get scared so easily. But Halloween 2018 had all the right stuff. Yes, I still have my problems I said in my review. But for the most part, I enjoy the hell out of Halloween 2018. And the fight with him and Laurie Strode, they threw down in that scene. They just threw down. Well, I love that part. That was my favorite part of the movie. Hereditary. This is a better third act than you, okay? But yeah, Halloween 2018, I love this film. This was my 6th favorite film, horror film. And this is number 27 according to my best. And number 5, Blumhouse Truth or Dare. Take a minute to let that sink in. Okay. Truth or Dare this is a guilty pleasure. I know there's a lot of people who just, this is a movie that critics and people just absolutely blast it. And I can see why John Avenger 71985 hates the film. I can see why Tiffany Green hates the film, even though she's a big fan of Lucy Hale. And John Avenger, he's a good YouTube supporter. He loves Lucy Hale. He wanted this to be a good scary movie for her. But she does have another scary movie called Fantasy Island, and it is a reboot of the TV show with her and Maggie Q. And the director of this movie is writing and directing that film for next year. Going to be released by Blumhouse and Columbia. So I am hoping that is a better film than this. But the standout easily in the movie is easily Lucy Hale. You got is Lucy Hale. She's Ari Montgomery from Pretty Little Liars, for goodness sake. And she's great in the movie as the sweet innocent girl, but you could have done a lot more to her. You could have let her been a badass here. Violet Bean and Tyler Posey, I also cared about their characters. The rest of the characters I just didn't like or either care about, and that's one of my problems. I kind of feel like the characters should have been more developed and more fleshed out. You could have done a little better, more with this whole concept of Truth or Dare. It's an interesting concept. You tell the truth, you die. You don't do the dare, you die. If you refuse to play the game, you die. And also, I felt like you could have easily made it to where there is an escape from this game. Because the ending is basically supposed to be sequel bait, I don't know. Also, the fake looking CGI smiley faces that they put on through this entire movie. I know what you were trying to do, you're trying to scare us, but it would have worked more if you would have let the actual actors make that face, like I'm doing right now. Because for the entire movie, the CGI smiley face did take me out of it. I like the music, I like the locations, I like the atmospheric cinematography they're trying to do here. And I'm gonna say it. If Truth or Dare was rated R instead of PG-13, I feel like you would have been able to get away with a lot more creativeness in your kills, because the kills are decent enough. It's just the problem is watered down PG-13. But I can still watch Truth or Dare nonetheless and turn my brain off, have a decent enough time with it. And I can laugh at the CGI smiley faces and some of the crazy stuff they do here. And the scene where you break Olivia's hand with a hammer, this is not a spoiler. This is also shown in the trailer and it's also in the film. That can really set you off if you're a fan of the character of Lucy Hale from Pretty Little Liars, because that scene really irritated me a little bit. And again, I don't mind showing vulnerabilities to Lucy Hale, especially on Pretty Little Liars, but I ain't even got to season 6, but I don't want to see her get hurt like this. But Truth or Dare is number 5. It's heavily flawed, but I can still watch it. In the 4th place in this horror ranking is Goosebumps Haunted Halloween. When it comes to the first Goosebumps movie, this is a step down from the first Goosebumps. In terms of the story and of most of the characters. Because I really love the first Goosebumps. That was one of my favorite films of 2015. This is a pretty entertaining sequel. I love seeing Jack Black come back as R.L. Stine. I like the new set of characters for the most part. Slappy just doesn't want to go back in his book because he's a dummy, and he hates when people call him dummy. But he is a ventriloquist dummy, so get used to it, Slappy. It's cool seeing some new monsters, the evil gummy bears. That was kind of cool. Seeing also the other R.L. Stine books from the other film is pretty cool. Man, I was just asking myself, rewatching the first one and then watching this one, how many freaking Goosebumps characters do R.L. Stine has? You have the Haunted Mask, you have Slappy, you got the Abominable Snowman of Pasadena. How many more monsters do you have? But R.L. Stine, he's a very creative book writer. Goosebumps, mostly ghostly, and especially Monsterville, which I enjoyed the Cabinet of Souls movie. It does have its problems, but the first Goosebumps is still the best. But at the same time, I do enjoy Goosebumps Haunted Halloween. I'd be down to see a Goosebumps 3, because the ending especially clearly sets up another film. So I'm curious to see how they're going to handle Goosebumps 3. I'm not sure if this will be a franchise or if this is going to be a trilogy. Because some movie series should remain a trilogy. I'm looking at you, Pitch Perfect, even though you're trying to do Pitch Perfect 4, but we all know that that's not going to roll. Coming in 3rd place is the 2018's version of Suspiria. I never saw the Dario Argento version, so I went back and watched that version and reviewed it last year just to get prepared for this version. And I will say this version is very polarizing. The reactions are very polarizing. You'll either like the movie or you'll either hate it. But the dancing sequences are creative, they're hypnotic, they're stylish, and they're handled with very well done. The director of this movie is Luca Guadagnino, who directed A Splash, which also starred a certain actress in this movie I don't like, and that is Tilda Swinton. The only films I like her in is the Chronicles of Narnia films and Michael Clayton. She's just so here. But the standout in this movie is Dakota Johnson. It's good seeing her move on from the 50 Shades trilogy, and she is doing just fine as a good actress. She is a good actress in general. It's just those movies make her out not to be a good actress. Chloe Grace Moretz is also in here. You also got Mia Goth. I do like the themes that this movie touches upon. I do like the direction and the music, and the way this movie looks is also really cool. Problems, as I said, the film is a little too long at 2 hours and 32 minutes, kind of overstays its welcome, and there are some scenes that are just very weird. It's kind of like, it felt like I was watching American Horror Story, but in Suspiria. And I'm not the biggest fan of American Horror Story at all. You all know why. I haven't even said why. But Suspiria was actually really good. Coming in second place is A Quiet Place. Now, A Quiet Place, this was one of the most intriguing scary movies. This proves that you can have a PG-13 movie done right, scary movie done right. And John Krasinski directed this movie to his absolute best. He and his real-life wife, who's also actress Emily Blunt, who played in Mary Poppins Returns, they both have good chemistry here. I love the kids in this movie. There is some very emotional moments in here, especially at the beginning where they do lose another one of their kids. I like the story of this family having to stay quiet so these creatures won't hear them. If the creatures hear you, they will kill you, pretty much. I like the sound effects. The design of the creatures is pretty cool. My only issues is the ending is abrupt. And when I say the ending is abrupt, it's like the ending is just like, really? Just you're ending the movie just like that? And I get you're trying to possibly set up a sequel, which they are gonna do. If you can make the sequel as good as this, then I would definitely give you a round of applause. So I am curious to see how they're gonna do A Quiet Place 2, because A Quiet Place 2 is planned to be released, and Paramount has announced it. So A Quiet Place was really entertaining. Now, as my number one favorite scary movie of last year, this is a fun World War II Nazi zombie film, and I'm surprised considering the fact that one of my little sisters loves zombie stuff. She has not seen this movie yet. Overlord. This is a fun, like I said, it's a fun zombie movie. I feel like I put this in my most underrated and overlooked just because the movie got good reviews, but it didn't really get the chance to find its audience, because fortunately it was released after Venom and after all the scary movies. So it pretty much underperformed at the box office. And I feel like if this movie was released in October of last year, and Venom should have been moved completely to Netflix, because this is by far a more entertaining film. I like the zombie action. I like the direction by Julius Avery. The characters and the writing is the strongest aspect. I like our main character, Boyd. He's in the war, he's serving his country, but he doesn't want to kill anybody. He goes through an entirely cool arc as the movie goes on. You also got the son of Kurt Russell in here, Wyatt Russell. I liked his character as well. The villain, he is a great villain, but I hated him in this film. And that's the point, you're supposed to hate him for what he was trying to make Chloe do, which Chloe was also another interesting character. Matilda Olivier plays her very well. I would love to see her in more films after this. She's very beautiful. She's gorgeous. She may be French, but so is Brie Larson too, a little bit. So is Dove Cameron also a little bit, even though she's American. And also so is Palm Klimatif, who's also Canadian and Asian. And the zombie effects are pretty cool. The movie went by very quick, in an hour 50 minutes. There was a lot of blood and carnage, cool, interesting aspects, and it was fun to see a nice throwback zombie film because, as I said, one of my favorite subgenres in the scary movie genre is zombies films. I like zombie stuff. I Am Legend, Night of the Living Dead, 28 Days Later. I love zombie stuff. So Overlord is one. This was definitely a much different type of zombie film than we're used to seeing. And as far as TV shows with zombies, I still enjoy The Walking Dead. It's just the fact that the character of Rick is not on there anymore. But he will be back. But Overlord is a very entertaining zombie film, and I really enjoyed it. So that was my third and final version of this horror ranking recorded. It took three tries, but only because I forgot to put one of them on here. So this is the version that will be released on my channel. So let me know what you guys think about it down below. How would you rank these? Be positive. Don't be negative, because I will delete the comments and block you. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Be sure to follow my social media links down below. Let's steer the road to 1K subscribers. And you guys keep it cool as always. Enjoying the epitasticness. This is Future Filmmaker 39480 signing out.